Okay, I will admit everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
All right. Give it a few more minutes.
That's scary.
What's scarier? Eric, was that you?
What's that?
What's something scary?
No, I said that my daughter's over here, and I said that's Gary. He's our new manager. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on. I'm jumping from Teams to Zoom, and I got to get acclimated with the mute and everything here.
That's all right. Okay. Looks like we have a number of folks. We'll get started in a second, you guys. (661). What area code is that? Somebody from the 661 arena.
661 is David Baccariso with ProPath Inc.
Oh, great. Where is that at?
In
ProPath.
Tehachapi, California.
Tehachapi. All right. Honestly, I didn't even know there was a Tehachapi. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We have some folks that are joining by audio. I'll give it a few more seconds here. Great. I think what I'd like to do is maybe just go quickly around and see who's with us today, and I'll introduce my team right off the bat. So first of all, thank you for joining us, everyone. There's going to be some background noise. I'm going to ask that you guys go ahead and mute your mics if you're not speaking. We'll just one of the many things I've learned about Zoom over the course of the last several months. My name is Bruce Wilson. I'm the director of the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay. We are the Workforce Development Board for 4 California counties in Northern California. Just above the Golden Gate Bridge. I can see Eric Peterson's got the Golden Gate Bridge there. So we cover Marin County, which touches the Golden Gate Bridge, Napa County. We have Mendocino County and Lake County. So all the counties that surround Sonoma. We can go into that geographic arrangement if you want, but we do not plan on covering it unless it's a question here today. So again, I'm Bruce Wilson, Director of the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay, which is the Workforce Development Board for 4 counties in Northern California. We are conducting this Bidders Conference due to the request for proposal process that we have open right now. Those proposals are due on January 15th, and Doug Orlando from my team is going to go into a little more detail on that. The purpose of the bidders conference today is to allow potential respondents to the RFP to get any questions that they would like to have answered by us in a more interactive process. There will be other opportunities, of course, to ask those questions, and my team is committed to answering any of the questions that you have. We really are hoping for a competitive process and a competitive set of proposals to be submitted. So we are here to answer any questions, anything that might be confusing, and WIOA is sometimes complex and confusing. So do not hesitate to answer or ask those questions. We'll answer them. With me today, I have Sylvia Palcheska. She is with the Workforce Alliance. She just waved there. She's a workforce development analyst. I have Laura Davis. Laura just waved to my right. She is our operations manager and has a great deal of knowledge with regard to what's going on at the Career Point Centers, our AJCCs. We have Doug Orlando, workforce development specialist. Want to wave, Doug? Doug on the Workforce Alliance team is rejoining us. He has over 40 years of experience in workforce development programs, both at the state and local level. And he is running our, as you guys know, having read the RFP, is our point person on the RFP process itself. And then Taylor, you want to wave? The only one on the team that doesn't have the Workforce Alliance background, which is not a problem at all. He is our fiscal officer. So Taylor has all the answers when it comes to money and funding. So with that, if we can just, maybe I'll just call out your name if you don't mind, and you can say what organization you're with. Megan Kelly.
Hi, I'm with CareerPoint Petaluma People Services Center in Marin.
Great, wonderful, thank you. Paul Castro. You're muted, Paul.
California Human Development.
California Human Development. Thanks, Paul. Sarissa. I don't know if I said your name right. You're muted as well. Sarissa, if do you want to say what organization you're with, Sarissa? You're muted. No.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarissa McNichols. I'm with Canal Alliance.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Anthony Terlizzi.
You got it. So
Oh.
I'm Anthony Terlizzi. I'm the Chief Performance Officer. I'm with a national organization called Career Team.
Great. Eric Peterson.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Bruce? I'm Eric Peterson with representing Career Point Marin.
Thank you. Edward Ober.
I am with California Human Development.
Great. Thank you. Teresa Brown.
Hello, I'm with Napa County Health and Human Services.
Thanks, Teresa. Isaiah.
Another member of the California Human Development crew here.
Thanks, Isaiah. Cynthia Gunzelman.
Hi, Cindy Gunzelman here, Career Point Marine Stop Operator.
Great. And Cynthia and Eric are with the Marin County Health and Human Services Agency as their parent organization. Christy Gard.
Good afternoon, Christy Gard. I am the Program Operations Director for MPIC. We currently are the career service provider for Mendocino and Lake counties. Thank you.
Thanks, Christy. Peggy Doherty.
Compliance Officer with Mendocino County and Lake County.
Great. Kai Harris.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm with California Human Development as well.
Thanks, Kai. Candy De Los Santos. We just lost Candy.
Candy De Los Santos. I'm from Mendocino Private Industry Council in Lake and Mendocino.
Great. Thanks, Candy. Pamela Johnson.
Yep, Pam Johnson with Equus Workforce Solutions.
Thanks, Pamela. Sherry Parr.
Good afternoon, Bruce, and all attendees. My name is Sherry Parr, and I'm with Marin County Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Sherry. And Gary Besser.
Good afternoon, Gary Besser. I'm with Marin County HHS and Career Point Marin.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gary. Yenzi.
Hi, Yancy Hakawa here. I'm with Petaluma People Services Center at Career Point.
Great. Adrina, I don't know if I said that right.
Yes, Gina Tarantonius, Regional Director with Equus Workforce Solution.
Great, thank you for joining us. Brandy Swanson.
Hello, I'm Brandy Swanson. I'm the Lead Employment Training Specialist with MPIC Inc., representing Career Point Lake and Career Point Mendocino.
Great, thank you. And we have the phone number 661. I think that was ProPath.
Yes, that's correct. David Baccariso, ProPath Inc. Thank you.
Great, thank you, David. All right, well, we have a great group. Thank you for joining us again. We are very excited about this process and very excited about going through the process of finding our next Career Point North Bay providers, whoever they may be. Again, we wanted to go through the RFP process and ask and answer any questions that that you might have. A couple things that I wanted to stress: the word innovation is laced throughout the RFP. We are looking for innovative proposals that get at our end goal to help our job seekers and our businesses. So the RFP process is for all 4 counties. And again, that's Marin County, Napa County, Lake, and Mendocino counties. And it's for all 3 of the formula services: for youth services, dislocated worker services, and adult services. I'm not going to steal any of Doug's thunder. He's going to hit a few points and some corrections that we've made to the RFP process, and we want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. And then again, for any questions that you might have, we want to encourage those questions either through the open question process where you can submit them in writing, or through the bidders conference here today. Doug Orlando, as I was mentioning, has several years of experience in workforce programs, and the latest of which is Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And he is just going to get us to the to January 15th and the evaluation process, which we can touch on as well. And we're looking for our next round of providers starting on July 1st, 2021. With that, Doug, you want to unmute and touch on anything that has come up?
Sure. Hello, everybody. This process is primarily set up so everybody can present offers that they believe are responsive to what our board is looking for. And it's designed to be as open-ended as possible. We didn't want to restrict answers or force methods or production numbers from you. We want you to look at the resources that you can get from this contract and the maximum benefit of production that you can turn with those resources. And we know that we're going to get a lot of different proposals, and we're okay with that because the evaluation is going to also be pretty open. We've received a lot of inquiries so far. We've posted responses to them on the website. A lot of them are about format, page lengths, what's included, what's not. And we've decided to make an errata to the RFP to clarify that. We're going to, in fact, expand it so that the attachments and the forms that we require are going to be in addition to the page limits. So that allows everybody to have more ability to describe their narrative and explain how they're going to use resources. This bidders conference is going to be primarily not me reading it to you, but having us kind of go through the high level perspective of it and have you guys ask questions. Another thing that we've decided to change was originally we said that the questions would be open until the bidders conference. And we got very few questions until the last 2 days. And it became clear that we needed to extend that a little bit. So we're actually going to continue to accept questions. We will post answers to those questions up until the end of the year, which of course is December 31st, but I don't know how many of you will be looking on December 31st, but we will do that. And we will also continue to use whatever we need, information we gathered through this exercise to clean up the RFP through the vehicle of the errata. So anyway, if you haven't looked at some of the responses yet, they're posted on our website along with the RFPs. And the errata will be going up soon. And I think we'll probably call that an interim because it's going to expand and change as information comes down the pipe. We're not, again, we're not trying to force anything here. We want you all to be able to express how you're going to use funding and achieve the goals and objectives of the workforce system. I would like to point out, and I think it's pretty obvious in the proposal, but the board, our board gave us guiding principles, and almost everything in this 40+ pages has evolved as us encouraging you to respond to those guiding principles. You can find them on page 17. There's 4. And essentially what they're looking for are kind of what you would expect business people to ask for. They want greater access for customers. They want more client flow of customers. They want lower cost of doing business, and they want better outcomes and customer satisfaction. So it kind of looks like a business plan, and it may be different than a lot of what we normally get in bureaucracy, but that's what we're aiming to do. We're trying to say we have a finite amount of money. We have a fairly large sector of need, and we want you all to express how you can use the money to meet the need. And you got 40 pages to do it. So I think that's generous, and I think you all will do a good job. So, Bruce, did you want to go over questions now, or you want to?
I think you hit everything. Did you hit the calendar updates, Doug?
Oh, well, there are, well, let's talk about a few things that are going to go in the errata that we should kick off right away. One is we're going to extend the comment and question period, which we already talked about. Another one is we're going to fix a typo that was in the table in the RFP. We used 2021, December 15, 2021 for the bidders conference, which is obviously today, and it's 2020. We're gonna change the format, so we're gonna give everybody more space, more pages to express what you're going to do. One of the big ones is we had a typo in the funding, and the youth allocation for NAPA was 149,798 is which is in the table. That's actually a repeat of Marin's. It wasn't supposed to be that. So the errata will change that to 118,768. So anybody who is looking to propose for the Napa area, including youth as one of their target populations, you need to look for that errata or make note of it now. The allocation is 118,768. So that'll change. The rest of the time frame, I think, is still in line with what we're trying to do. We posted some remarks on some questions we got last night. One we haven't yet was a question about who our current service providers and one-stop operators are. And I'm going to let Bruce, so I don't butcher the names. Again, I'm back on scene, and I don't want to say anything that misrepresents the entity. But so Bruce can give us that answer.
Yeah, and that answer will also be added to the questions and answers on the right. We just went through introductions. You heard that Napa County Health and Human Services is on the phone. They are the current provider in Napa for adult dislocated worker and youth services. We have Marin Health and Human Services is the current provider for adult and dislocated worker services in Marin. And then we had Petaluma People Services, which is the current provider for youth services in Marin. And then you heard Christy and Candy and Peggy introduce themselves from they said MPIC, that stands for Mendocino Private Industry Council, nonprofit, and MPIC runs both our Lake and Mendocino County AJCCs. And that, again, that will be put into the list of bidders questions and answers online.
Another question that came up that will be posted, and it may have already been posted, I'm not sure, but it was a good observation. Someone pointed out that they didn't have a carry-in number for the participant plans. And what we've decided to do is have everybody use a 20% of your annual enrollment number as a starting point, kind of considering a 5-quarter operating cycle. So if you're going to put 400 people enrolled in a program, then 20% of that is 80. So you would start with 80. So you'd be touching 480 people during that 12-month period or 4-quarter period. Not all of them will have exited, but that's a fair way, we believe, of incorporating consideration for a carry-in to the budget and program narrative that you all are going to draft.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to hit on, Doug, before we open it up for questions from the group?
Yeah, no, I think besides the dollar amount that we mistyped, I think the biggest change is that we're going to expand the length of the submittal so people aren't going to be restricted in what they say.
Yeah. Great. And then I will also note on the dollar amount itself, and this is all in the RFP as well, that the dollar amount is there based on the formula funds we get for adult dislocated worker and youth. So that's what comes to the system. Having said that, for those of you that are very familiar with running WIOA programs, there's a lot of other kinds of funding that tend to come out through the course. And this RFP would cover a large part of that. So the presumed deliverer is the awardee through this process. So those dollar amounts will change. Having said that, it's there for us to hear what kind of program you can put together and get at an amount of basically for the program and how much it's going to cost. So we wanted to make sure that there was a dollar amount there. Again, stressing that that is just for formula dollars, and there's special funds that come through the Workforce Development Board as well. So with that, why don't we take a moment and pause and open it up to you guys. Sylvia, if everybody is muted because of us and you can take them off mute, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, you guys are in control of your own microphones and we'll take any questions.
Yes, Bruce, if I may start. Doug, good to see you again. Carryover. You mentioned 20%, that I'm assuming that applies to adult dislocated and youth?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So in regards to if there is a new provider of services, in the follow-ups, depending on where people will be exiting, so I guess I believe the expectation is that you will basically complete the services, including follow-ups and all those things that need to be done in the traditional program, correct?
Correct.
So then you need to, so the funding needs to be identified to be able to cover those things.
Right. The responsibilities will be assumed to carry on, and you will carry on with the annual budget that would be awarded.
Okay.
That includes follow-up, completing services to clients, the whole ball of wax.
Okay. If the event that the carryover is greater than 20%, would that be, discussed at some point? I mean, if let's say, there's 30, 35%, I mean, with the pandemic today, there's so many unknowns.
Well, yeah, when and Bruce can, and Taylor and Laura can jump in here, but from my perspective, when we get down to brass tacks and we start reducing the offer to a contract, and we start looking at performance goals and units of production, we can take that into consideration. But a lot of that, I think if you, and in the accounting world, we used to refer to it as a going concern.
Okay.
You're investing and stepping in to a going concern. And all the aspects of operation, including taking care of the people who are in the pipeline and the people who have been successfully out of the pipeline, who you are going to keep track of and continue to serve, are part of that going concern operation. Just like if in 4 years or 8 years, whoever wins the contract no longer has the contract, they're not going to have to use their money post-contract to do the follow-up and the final activity. So it's cyclical. Accountants usually say you budget over a 5-quarter period, so you really kind of are using money that is reserved for these kinds of activities. And a lot of the functionality bleeds across your operation, and so it shouldn't be too painful. But if it is, then we discuss it during the negotiations.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
Yeah, I just want to underscore that, Paul, from my perspective, that is something that would be addressed in the negotiations process for sure. We don't anticipate having not funding services to clients. So we'll figure it out, but we'll know those details later on down the road. And I don't want to answer questions that are guesses right now.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Doug.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other questions?
Hi, this is Pam with Equus Workforce Solutions. I submitted a question. I don't think it's been answered yet, but if we want to submit for all 4 counties, to serve all 4 counties, should we submit 4 separate proposals, or should they all be included in one proposal?
Go ahead, Doug.
What I would expect is one proposal that included all the, if it's 4 counties, you're going to end up with 12 participant plans and one budget that has 4 columns, or 5 columns, I guess. So, yeah, that's the proposals. We are envisioning getting proposals that might be for one target population in one county, some that might be just for a county and all populations, and any other mix of offers. Our responsibility is to make sure that we select service providers who can cover the needs and provide the services of the geographical area. So, yeah, it would be one proposal if you were going to go for 4 counties or 3 counties or 2 counties, or 1 county. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just to underscore that, so it's 40 pages, and we're hoping that the 40 pages plus the additional 15 attachments is enough to cover all 4 counties and all 3 programs, should you choose to do it that way.
Bruce, this is Candy. I have a question as a follow-up to that question about the counties. If you submit a proposal that includes more than 1 county, would that, do you have to get both counties? What would you look at it and then decide? Say we applied for 3 counties and then you decide, well, maybe 2, but one of them we'll give to somebody else? Or is your proposal, if you submit the proposal for 3 counties, it's for 3 counties and nothing else?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Can I try to repeat it back to you?
Sure.
I think you're asking, if you submit for like 3 counties, are you asking what if we decide to give you 1 even though you submitted for 3? Is that the nature of the question?
Yeah, my question is, if you apply for it, like she wanted to apply for all 4 counties, is
Yeah.
that the only way that she could be, you either accept her for all 4 counties or and give them the contract, or would you be able to divide those 4 counties up still and give 1 or 2 to one and 1 to another?
I think I mean, we didn't write a concrete, we didn't answer that question in the RFP. We're looking for innovative proposals that get at those 4 principles that the Workforce Development Board has come up with and that Doug came over. And I think through the evaluation process, we'll arrive at a recommendation that might include any of the scenarios that you just brought up.
Okay, thank you.
I'm looking at the proposal because there was language inserted in there that used the term stitching. And if we get proposals that overlap, and we're going to be able to use the scoring and the recommendations of the staff and subcommittees to piece together the best total package for the area. When I wrote it, I was trying to address kind of the flip side of your question. If somebody says they only want to do adult and dislocated worker and not youth, then it's incumbent on us to find somebody who would do youth to fill the gap. So your question is kind of the opposite. If somebody asks for full services for all 4, but it's not competitive in one of the 4 counties, what would we do? And I think what I heard Bruce say is we would do what's best for the geographical area. And that could be hammered out through the negotiation process.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question about the response organization. This is Ed with CHD. So the way the RFP is set up is it has sections for section 4.2 adult dislocated worker program, and then it has separate 4.3 for the youth. And a lot of the items that are required are duplicative from section to section, because I believe you set it up that way because you're giving people the option of what they can apply for. So if they only applied for one or the other, you're showing that what would be included in that particular section. But if they decide to apply for all programs in all counties, can we consolidate that into so that we're not duplicating same material in different sections in the same proposal?
Right. And in the RFP, we have language that says that we don't want to make proposals reiterate and duplicate. And so the youth portion can simply refer to a section that was already written. So I think what we said, if it's common to both programs and already submitted, you can refer to it rather than submit it. But still having them separated will give our evaluators a better chance to evaluate, for the lack of better terms, the bang for the buck for each proposal, for each program, for each county. So, we're looking at, kind of a Rubik's Cube here, and we got to fill it in. And so getting it separated is important, but not causing you the extra work is also important. So we try to put that in.
So identify it, but just refer back. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you. And then the 40 pages is single spaced allowed, or is that double spaced?
I forget that. Laura, do you remember that? Let's see, under format. We'll answer that in the questions and answers.
Okay.
I think what we said is 12-point font, but I don't know if we said double spaced.
I don't think you specified, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah. We'll clarify that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Doug?
Yes.
So the requirement to have one comprehensive center, if you apply for the 4 counties, is have one comprehensive center and affiliates or access points. If the applicant proposes a different location than the current center, is that possible, or is there a obligation to remain at the current center? And if there's not, what would be the funds that would allow to open a different center in a different location?
I'm going to yield to Bruce because I think that question is seeking what our evaluation team might interpret. And number one, I don't have that. And number two, we don't believe that's a response that we should be giving. Bruce, what do you think?
The response, maybe restate the question. What is the question exactly?
So basically, if the applicant proposes a different location for the comprehensive center, there's current location. Okay, moving the current center, opening a different is going to cost money. So those funds will be available in the proposal, or would that be funds that need to be brought in from outside?
Well, I think when you fund a center, there's a cost sharing agreement in the MOU, and the MOUs are indicated in the RFP itself. I encourage you to take a look at that and look how centers are funded, number one. So it's typically centers are funded through all the partners that are providing services at or through that center. Number two is that the centers currently are not locations that are there because of a lease agreement between the Workforce Development Board and the building itself. So depending on the proposer and where they're proposing to put that center, those are things that you should probably think about as you put together your plan.
Okay.
So the short answer to the question is there's nothing holding us to having the centers in the same places they are now.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Doug.
Okay, and I would add that on a strictly budget and planning of expenditures basis, yes, everything that you're going to do has to be included and explained in the budget process. It's just that I was reluctant to say what you should do or how what you did would be viewed by evaluation. So.
Hey, Doug.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit to the cost reimbursement process? It mentions payments in relationship to accomplishments, and this is done on a quarterly basis. I'm just curious, is this negotiated quarterly, or can you speak a little bit more to that, please?
Well, yeah, and Taylor can jump in if I say anything wrong here. These are going to be cost reimbursement contracts. I think the language you're referring to was placed in there to say that the participant plans and the expenditures need to be aligned, and they need to go along in the way that your program is designed. And that if at a certain point in time, the money's being spent and the performance isn't being met, that WANB would step in and find out what needed to be done so that we could correct that situation. I won't call it anything other than a situation. We want the money to be spent in line with the production that you are planning. We understand that these are not scientific estimates. There's a lot of forces that are going to change what really happens, but we will be overseeing that. And that's what we were speaking of. We're not talking about performance-based contracts or withholding payments because of lack of deliverables, but we do want to stay on top of it so that we're not funding operations that haven't made those changes that it needs to in order to produce. You've probably seen in reading the RFP the word nimble, being able to adjust the where resources are consumed to where production can be the most advantageous, those kinds of things. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a system that's responsive to the needs of the community and uses the money in the most wise, that's not a very, in the wisest way.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? You guys know where to go to get the list of questions and answers, right? It's okay. So we did just post a new round of questions. If you don't see your question there, please alert us if you've submitted it already. And we'll just add it to our running list of Q&As. If for some reason the answers that we provide are not clear, you can resubmit and let us know that. What else do we need to cover?
Bruce, you want to confirm the dates on the calendar?
Yeah.
So is March the 11th the date when an applicant will know if they will be selected? That's the original board meeting on the 11th.
March 11th. Yeah. So we do anticipate the regional board making a formal recommendation at their March 11th meeting, and and then of course there's the governing board as well, which that recommendation would go to. But yeah, during that time you should anticipate knowing, and we wanted to give enough time for transition if it was needed. Hence the March 11th date for a contract that would start on July 1st.
Okay.
Well, of course, that contract would not have been negotiated by March 19th.
Right, but you will know. You will know.
We
if
would know.
Elected. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce.
You bet.
So one thing I think that when we entered this conference call, we wanted to make sure that it was clear is that the RFP is really designed so that you all can provide narratives on your, I think as Bruce said, putting your best foot forward in this process. So we don't want to restrict any of your thoughts and ideas, your innovations. We want you guys to say what you think you can do to improve our system. And so that's the basic challenge.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, seeing no other questions, I will say a couple things. One is following this meeting, we have the one-stop operator bidders conference. So for those of you that are interested in putting a proposal in for that, that is a separate RFP entirely, and a separate proposal that we would be expecting. So it has its own bidders conference. It's going to start shortly. You're welcome to join us. That's number one. Number two, I will say that I believe we have a very, very dynamic region. The 4 counties coming together, providing these services for job seekers and our business community. It's a very innovative and outside of the box region, and we are very much encouraging, as I hope you can tell from the RFP, that we're looking for very competitive and innovative proposals that will get people employed and respond to our business community's needs. So we're very excited about this process, and we're looking forward to all of your proposals. Like Doug said, we're going to take questions a little bit longer, so that's going to be changed in the errata because we want to make sure that you guys get your questions asked and that we can, our answers can facilitate competitive proposals and innovative proposals. With that, I will ask for one more time if there's any questions. And if not, we'll go ahead and end the meeting. All righty. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and we look forward to your upcoming proposals. We'll see those of you in a few that are interested in the One Stop Operator Bidders Conference.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bruce, did you have to register for the One Stop Bidders Conference separately?
Yes, Teresa, there is another registration form. It's also on our website.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and fill that out quickly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I'll see you guys later.
See you.
Okay, bye-bye.